Hello there, good morning. A lovely day again. I'm a bit windswept. We've been out already this morning, got the paper. Um, Hope everything's all right with you today and that you're being blessed. And I wonder if you had fun yesterday playing the sword drill. If you found you weren't very good at it, you need to do it and make it fun. That's the thing. Whenever we learn anything, if we make it fun, it's much easier to learn. And that was something I tried to do, and my first husband was very involved in this, in helping devise ways to help people to remember things about the Bible. Because the Bible is a very complicated book. It has 66 books in it, many of them written by different people at different periods of the history of the people of God, and knowing what sort of book you're looking for is one of the most helpful things about finding your way around the Bible, particularly the Old Testament. But basically, the Bible is the books are grouped. So in the Old Testament, there's 39 books in the Old Testament, and they're grouped 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. So it's quite an easy sort of pattern. So there's 5 books of Moses, 12 books of history, 5 books of poetry, 5 books called the major prophets, and 12 books called the minor prophets. And if you know that, and you know which group the book you're looking for belongs to, then you're halfway to finding it, really. For example, if you're thinking about Kings, Kings is a history book. It's in that 12 group of history books. The second, the 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. If you're looking for Jonah, he's a minor prophet. He's in the 12 towards the end of the Old Testament. So if you have that idea about the Old Testament and you know there are a few books that don't quite fit into the thing, like Lamentations is actually grouped with 4 other books as the major prophets. But it's a small book, which is a bit confusing. And Ruth is in that 12 history books group, and yet it's the story of one woman's life. So sometimes it's a bit difficult, but mostly it's not too difficult. And when you get to the New Testament, it's grouped again very logically. We've got the 4 Gospels, then the Acts of the Apostles, then the books of the letters of Paul, grouped together as letters to places, and then letters to people. And then we've got other letters from people. So it's a bit confusing, isn't it? So Timothy, 1 and 2 Timothy were letters written by Paul to Timothy, but 1 and 2 Peter are letters written by Peter to the church. And then after those letters, there is the Revelation. And slap bang in the middle of the New Testament in the letters section is Hebrews, not attributed to Paul, and not a letter to an individual, but it's there in the middle of the letters groupings. So getting to know your way around the Bible is not too difficult, and that's my thought for the day. Don't be daunted by it, but if you have this idea of 5, 12, 5, 5, 12 in the Old Testament, that's very, very helpful. There isn't the same sort of numerical kind of pattern to the New Testament. And then let me just tell you the fun way that we devised for remembering the order of the first 5 books of the Bible. I must say that the song that was posted up on WhatsApp yesterday about the books of the Bible is great, and I know that there is at least another song which helps you with a rhythmic pattern to remember where the books are. But learning a song like that is really, I think, quite difficult. You'd have to listen to it a lot of times and repeat it, but it's worth listening to. If you didn't listen to it yesterday, have a listen to the one that Marion posted up. Thank you, Marion. That was absolutely great. But if you want to learn the order of the first 5 books of the Bible, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the 5 books of Moses, well, we devised this imaginary scene, and we say to you, imagine yourself in your garden, and your new neighbours have moved in, and you're sitting in the garden, and they pop their heads over the garden fence to say hello. And surprise, surprise, they are green elephants. Green elephants live next door. Genesis, green. Exodus, elephants. Leviticus, live. Numbers, next door. Deuteronomy. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Green elephants live next door. Well, that's enough for today. I can imagine you all sitting in your garden and thinking about the green elephants that are moving in next door to you. You have to have a good imagination to make fun out of learning, and I hope we'll do that together over the next few days and weeks. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow, which of course will be Sunday. It's Saturday today. Tomorrow will be Sunday, and I hope you'll find a way of joining a fellowship for an act of worship tomorrow, and celebrate the Lord's Day with others. So have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye for now.